The San Siro is arguably the most famous shared stadium in football, and for good reason. It's home to AC Milan and Inter Milan, two of the biggest clubs in the world. Officially opened in 1926, the stadium was originally built for AC Milan. In 1935, AC Milan sold San Siro to the city of Milan, and the stadium became a municipal venue. 12 years later, in 1947, the city approved Inter's move into the ground. From that point on, San Siro became a shared stage for two giants. San Siro has three dressing rooms, one for Milan, one for Inter, and one for the away team. Depending on who's playing at home, the colours, banners, and even tunnel branding change completely. That transformation helps each club maintain its own identity and creates one of the best atmospheres in Europe. It also makes the Derby della Madonnina one of the most intense and famous rivalries in world football. During the derby, each curve is taken over by its ultras, creating the feeling of a stadium divided in identity, even though the home club holds most of the seats. With a capacity of around 80,000, San Siro is one of the largest stadiums in Italy and Europe, but its future is uncertain. AC Milan have announced plans for a new stadium, while Inter are also exploring their own options. And when both clubs eventually move on, it will mark the end of an era for one of football's greatest arenas. Coming in at number 2 is another Italian classic. The Stadio Olimpico is home to two giants of Italian football, AS Roma and SS Lazio. As Rome's main stadium, construction began back in 1928, long before either club made it its permanent home. The stadium was eventually completed and officially opened in 1953, and it has remained shared ever since, largely because building separate elite stadiums in the historic city of Rome has always been politically and logistically difficult. This shared setup only intensifies the rivalry. Known as the Derby della Capitale, clashes between Roma and Lazio are among the most emotionally charged and volatile in Italian football, with massive choreographed tifos often stealing the spotlight before a ball is even kicked. Beyond club football, the Stadio Olimpico, which now holds around 70,000 fans and has hosted some of the biggest events in sport, including the 1960 Summer Olympics, the 1987 World Athletic Championships, multiple FIFA World Cup, and UEFA Euro matches. Next up is yet another Italian entry. Genoa's Stadio Luigi Ferraris is shared by Genoa CFC and UC Sampdoria, two of the city's most prominent clubs. Opened in 1911, it's the oldest football stadium in Italy. It was originally built as the home of Genoa CFC, Italy's oldest football club, but that changed in 1946 when Sampdoria moved in, with one major stadium proving far more practical than two competing venues. The stadium is named after Luigi Ferraris, an Italian footballer, engineer and soldier who died during World War I. The stadium has since hosted countless matches for both clubs, including their fierce rivalry, the Derby della Lanterna, the Derby of the Lighthouse. Despite having a more modest capacity of around 33,000 compared to the San Siro or Stadio Olimpico, the atmosphere on Derby Day is just as intense. The rivalry is fueled by the fact that Genoa has a long history, while Sampdoria is one of the country's newer clubs. At number 4 is one of the most famous stadiums in the world, the Maracana. It's home to two of Brazil's biggest and most historic clubs, Flamengo and Fluminense. Built for the 1950 FIFA World Cup, the Maracana opened that same year as a symbol of Brazilian football's rise on the global stage. Originally capable of holding crowds of over 150,000, it gained legendary status almost overnight and quickly became one of the most hallowed grounds in world football. It's only fitting that this iconic arena is shared by two giants of the game. Both teams adopt the Maracana as a home venue in 1950, drawn by its size, prestige, and central location in Rio de Janeiro. And when these two meet, the stadium truly comes alive. The famous Fla-Flu derby is often a tense, electric affair, with the modern 78,000-seat Maracana transformed into a sea of colour, noise and emotion. Beyond club football, the Maracana's legacy is unmatched. It has hosted World Cup finals, Copa America matches, Olympic events, and some of the most iconic moments in football history. Next up is the Jan Breydel Stadion, home to two Belgian top-flight clubs, Club Brugge and Cercle Brugge. Located in the city of Bruges, the stadium opened in 1975 and was built to replace the club's aging grounds, giving the city a single modern football venue. It's named after Jan Breydel, an instigator of the Bruges Matins. Owned by the city of Bruges, it serves as home to the area's two top teams. And while their matchup, known as the Bruges Derby, may not draw global headlines, it's deeply personal, driven by local pride and long-standing loyalty within the same city. With a capacity of around 29,000, the stadium may be smaller than some others on this list, but it has still hosted major European nights and even matches at Euro 2000, securing its place as one of Belgium's most important football venues. Next up is one of the newest venues on this list, the 3 Arena, one of the most modern shared stadiums in European football. Located in Stockholm, the venue opened in 2013 and was built to replace outdated grounds, giving the city a year-round, multi-purpose football stadium complete with a retractable roof. From the very beginning, it was designed to be shared. Swedish giants Hammarby IF and Djurgårdens IF both moved in as permanent tenants, a practical solution in a city where space, climate and infrastructure make multiple elite stadiums inefficient. Despite the shared setup, the atmosphere changes completely depending on who's at home. With a capacity of around 30,000, the stadium transforms on match day, especially during the Stockholm Derby, which remains one of the fiercest and most intense rivalries in Scandinavian football. We're staying in Sweden for the next one, Gamla Ullevi in Gothenburg, Sweden's second largest city. Unlike most entries on this list, it's home not to 2, but 3 clubs: IFK Göteborg, Guys, and Örgryte IS. The stadium opened in 2009 on the site of the old ground with the same name, which stood from 1916. Despite its relatively modest capacity of just over 18,000, Gamla Ullevi is perfectly suited for local football. Its compact design keeps fans close to the pitch, creating intense atmospheres regardless of which club is hosting. Each team brings its own colours, traditions and supporter culture, allowing the stadium to transform from match to match without losing its identity. Matches between any of the 3 Göteborg Alliansen clubs are major Gothenburg derbies, with matches involving IFK Göteborg being the most popular. At number 8 is our first entry from Africa and one of the most iconic stadiums on the continent. Located in the heart of Casablanca, the Stade Mohammed V holds just under 46,000 fans and is Morocco's oldest football stadium, having opened in 1955. Since then, it has served as the shared home of city giants Raja Casablanca and Wydad Casablanca. From the very beginning, the stadium became inseparable from Casablanca's football identity. Rather than softening the rivalry, sharing the same ground only intensified it. The Casablanca derby is widely regarded as one of the most passionate and volatile rivalries in world football, famous for its massive tifos and flair-filled atmospheres that rival anything seen in Europe or South America. Next up is Stadion Letzigrund, the heart of Swiss football and home to Zurich's biggest clubs, FC Zurich and Grasshopper Club Zurich. Originally opened in 1925, the stadium has seen major transformations over the years. It was demolished in 2006 and completely rebuilt in 2007 ahead of UEFA Euro 2008, giving Zurich a modern, multi-purpose arena while preserving its historic footprint. In football configuration, Letzigrund holds nearly 26,000 spectators. Owned by the city of Zurich, it serves as the shared home for both clubs, a practical solution in a city with centrally managed football infrastructure. Despite sharing the pitch, match days feel unique for each team. During the Zurich derby, the rivalry comes alive, built on history, local dominance, and contrasting club identities. Next, we head to Asia with the Azadi Stadium, home to two of Iran's biggest clubs, Persepolis FC and Esteghlal FC. Located in Tehran, the stadium opened in 1971 as a national venue, designed to host events of continental and global importance with a capacity of over 100,000. Since 2016, it has been downsized to just over 78,000, still more than enough for two of the country's most popular clubs. Both Persepolis and Esteghlal adopted Azadi as their permanent home in 1973, turning it into the stage for one of football's fiercest rivalries. During the Tehran derby, the stands are split between red and blue, with choreographed displays, loud chants, and relentless intensity that can be felt far beyond the pitch. The stadium's importance goes beyond club football. It has hosted Asian Cup matches, World Cup qualifiers, continental finals, and countless national team fixtures, cementing Azadi as a central hub of Iranian football. At number 11 is Cairo International Stadium, located in one of Africa's most famous cities and home to two of Egypt's most successful clubs, Al Ahly SC and Zamalek SC. Opened in 1960, the stadium was built as a national venue to host major continental and international events, rather than serve as a private club ground. While it regularly hosts the Egyptian national team, it's best known for club football. With a capacity of over 75,000, Cairo International transforms into a fortress on derby days. The rivalry between Al Ahly and Zamalek, known globally as the Cairo Derby, is one of the most intense in world football, with stands sharply divided between red and white, creating an emotionally charged atmosphere fueled by history, politics, and decades of dominance in African football. Beyond the derby, the stadium has hosted Africa Cup of Nations matches and CAF Champions League finals, cementing its place as one of the continent's most iconic football arenas and a symbol of Egyptian football. We return to Asia with Ajinomoto Stadium, home to J1 League clubs FC Tokyo and Tokyo Verdy. Built on land formerly used by United States forces, the stadium opened in 2001 as Tokyo Stadium. It later made history as Japan's first stadium to sell naming rights, becoming the Ajinomoto Stadium we know today. With a capacity of just under 50,000, the venue was designed as a modern multi-purpose arena rather than a single club fortress, making it a natural shared home. Both FC Tokyo and Tokyo Verdy adopted it as their base, a practical solution in a densely populated city where large-scale stadium development is tightly controlled. Match days shift dramatically depending on the host, and when the two meet, the stadium comes alive for the Tokyo Derby, a rivalry that showcases contrasting identities within the city's football culture. It is known as one of the most controversial derby matches in Japan. At number 13 is Bloomfield Stadium, home to two of Israel's biggest football clubs, Maccabi Tel Aviv and Hapoel Tel Aviv. Built between 1960 and 1962 with support from Canada, the stadium sits in the heart of Tel Aviv and is the city's largest football venue, holding just under 30,000 fans. Its size and central location make Bloomfield a natural shared home. Alongside Maccabi and Hapoel, other clubs like Bnei Yehuda have also used the stadium, and it also regularly hosts the Israeli national team. Match days transform depending on the host, and when the two rivals meet for the Tel Aviv derby, the atmosphere is electric. The rivalry is one of the most politically and emotionally charged in Israeli football, fueled by contrasting identities, histories, and passionate supporter cultures. Next, we return to Europe with the GSP Stadium in Cyprus, home to Nicosia's three biggest football clubs, Apoel, Omonia, and Olympiacos Nicosia. Opened in 1999, it was built to provide the capital with a modern venue capable of hosting top-level domestic and international matches. With a capacity of just under 23,000, the GSP Stadium was designed as a shared neutral ground rather than a single club fortress. All three clubs adopted it as their home, a practical solution in a small footballing nation with limited infrastructure. Despite its neutral design, match days are anything but calm. The rivalry between Apoel and Omonia dominates the stadium's identity, with the Nicosia derby producing some of the most intense atmospheres in Cypriot football. The stadium has also hosted European qualifiers, international fixtures, and countless domestic derbies, cementing its place as the centerpiece of football in Cyprus. We end this in Australia with Melbourne's Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, currently known as AAMI Park. This multi-purpose stadium is the home of Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory. Apart from football, it also hosts rugby and Aussie football teams. Built in 2010, it is located in Melbourne's Sports and Entertainment Precinct in the suburb of East Melbourne, and is Melbourne's first large purpose-built rectangular stadium. With a capacity of just over 30,000, the stadium is owned by the Victorian State Government and managed as part of Melbourne's main sporting precinct, sitting in the shadow of the MCG. The Melbourne Derby, contested by the two teams, is one of the most intense rivalries in Australian football. Melbourne Victory's active support traditionally occupies one end of the ground, while Melbourne City's fans gather at the opposite end. On most match days, the difference is subtle, but when the two clubs meet, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. Beyond domestic football, the stadium has hosted A-League Grand Finals, international matches, and continental competition, establishing itself as the modern home of elite football in Melbourne. Which ground share is your favourite, and which are the others not mentioned in this video?